Hi guys, I'm Michelle G. Rogers, the Muscle Mechanic, and today I'm going to show you how you can stretch your hamstring muscles. These are generally a pretty difficult area to stretch because there's two that really only go from the knee to the top of the thigh, and then there's the one bigger one called the Biceps Femoris that crosses from behind the knee and behind the hip. And that one we tend to sort of get a little wrong when we try to stretch it, and it needs a little bit more tweaking. So what I'll need you to have with you is either a belt, a band like I have here, a long towel, a jump rope, something long that you can wrap around your foot. I don't want you using your hands if you can help it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but you'll have more control if you have an extra piece of equipment to grab hold of your leg. So what we'll do is lie down on our backs and pick your leg. We're going to wrap our towel or our band or whatever around the foot and start with a slight bend in the knee. Okay, so we don't want to lock out completely. And you can keep your other leg straight on the floor if you have that ability. If it feels too tight, you can bend that opposite leg and keep the foot flat. But if you can keep it straight, that'd be great. So first thing you're going to do is imagine if you've got your left leg in the air, you're pulling sort of harder with your right hand, okay, and letting the leg drift to the right and somewhat up towards the right armpit. So we're not just dragging it right, we're dragging it into a slight diagonal. And that you should feel now all along the outside of that hamstring muscle. Now the good thing about doing this on your back is that it keeps your back totally straight and your spine out of the equation completely. I do find it's better to learn this standing up, which I'll show you also. However, this is a foolproof way, and if you have tight hamstrings, you'll get a little bit more benefit if you start on your back. You just have to make the effort. So you're going to pull slightly that way, and then you can bring it back to center and pull now towards your face. Now, you can also play with your foot position here. It depends on whether or not you have a high arch or a flat arch. I have a higher arch, so I like to pull towards the outside of my foot here to flatten my arch, but if you seem to have more flat feet, you can sort of pull so that you can see more of the outside of your ankle bone here. So play with that too, see if something feels like an effective stretch, and just pull forward, still keeping a slight bend in the knee. But try to keep the quad a little engaged. We don't want to just totally let it go. We want to keep the muscles active. The opposing muscle group of the muscle that you're stretching, it's called reciprocal inhibition. If we strengthen this muscle group, this one will tend to relax more. So we got it across in a diagonal, we got it straight on. Now we can take it just a little wide to get the other hamstring muscles that are closer to the inner thigh. Okay, and you can hold there. Please remember that whenever you're doing static stretching, that you need to hold this stretch for at least 1 minute to get a benefit of muscle relaxation. Most people tend to get a little impatient, hold a stretch for about 10-15 seconds and wonder why they're not getting anywhere and increasing their flexibility, but it really does make a difference if you have the time and inclination to hold the stretch until you become aware of the fact that it's starting to loosen. So there comes a moment where you're like, oh, I think I could take that a little further. And then you decide you want to pull a little more. Wait until you have that moment of some release. And your starting point with your stretches should always be pleasant. Don't ever take a stretch to the point of pain. That's only going to backfire on you because the muscles will just seize up on you, recoil, and tighten up even more than they were. So always gently pull to the point of an awareness of the stretch, let it release, and then you can take it further. Okay? And that is how we can stretch our hamstrings while we're lying on the ground, and then you can check back with me to see how you can do it standing up. Thanks again. I'm Michelle G. Rogers, and that is how you stretch your hamstrings.